as a long-standing old friend of Africa, having worked with Africa in various capacities, including now, my own take, for what it's worth, is that this post-COVID international cooperation is not looking good. It's not looking good overall, but it's not looking good, especially for Africa, which is something I believe we need to diagnose properly and we need to assess properly so that we can fix it properly. Not that international cooperation, understood as multilateralism, was in great shape before COVID. It was in bad shape for quite a bit of time, and for a number of reasons, which I think we will have to clarify in the discussion.
How do the institutions that we have at the moment, maybe it is the AU, maybe it is other multilateral organizations, how do all these actors come together to ensure that for this particular mission of delivering vaccines to the African population and producing our own vaccines, it doesn't become a competition between countries, but more of a collaboration and thinking of it in terms of value chains.
We really do need to interrogate what does multilateralism look like in the 21st century. I think a lot of the policies and a lot of mechanisms that were established are really speaking to a 20th century world, where now we are seeing that as a global community, we're much more interdependent on one another than we were a few years back. And I think what the pandemic revealed is not only inequalities that are existing globally, but the fact that what happens in one part of the world has a ripple effect, like it or not, in the other part of the world.
From the COVID-19 rollout differentials is that Africa's dependence is also a reflection of the deep-seated dependence sort of that we've seen around African countries during that time. So what I would like to see going forward is a situation where there is galvanization and pooling of resources to be able to advance not just in the production of everyday goods and services, but the scientific research as well, especially with respect to addressing some of these issues.
I mean, I'm from Sierra Leone. When Ebola happened in West Africa, I was there for 3 years working at the front lines. The whole world left us for the first 6 months. In the East, where the Ebola outbreak happened, it was community that actually prevented the spread of Ebola for 6 months to a year, up until we went to the third year into the pandemic. It wasn't necessarily government intervention. It was the chief, it was the youth. So we know the power of community mobilization.
I'd like to understand from you how to make it possible that with Africa's own investments into the African Union and others, and also with the support of other leading powers, how we can make sure that Africa has a voice. Because in my sense, maybe when it was invented during the Second World War and all that, the multilateral system was set so that we can avoid more wars by facilitating exchange, trade, interdependence between the countries, so that the global system is stabilized. But as long as we have one continent that is still marginalized, because when that system was in place, most of the countries in Africa were still colonies. So they were represented through the colonizing powers. But now that the world has changed, how do we ensure that Africa becomes really a full force into the policy making?
Africa matters when Africa is one. If you have an African group that has, after many internal discussions and oppositions, but gets to a joint position, this joint position will matter a lot.